Morning, everybody. We're running a little late. I slept. Had a long day yesterday. Hey, this song, "In the Bottom" from La Mulana, is the boss music for when you fight V. There is a 1967 Soviet movie called V. I found it on Tubi. It's pretty good. A lot of really good practical effects. It's kind of goofy sometimes, but it's about a seminary student, kind of a priest in training who's been sent to like a rich landowner's home to do the 3 nights of rites for the daughter of this rich guy who's died. It turns out the daughter was a witch. And as things go on, like, he draws a circle on the ground in chalk and, does all that kind of stuff to keep him safe from the demons while he reads the rites. And at the end of the thing, one of the demons that gets summoned is V. And V, the demon V, which works the same way in the game, he's just got one big old giant eye. But his eyelid is so heavy he can't open it himself, so he's got little helper demons to open his eyelids. That's how it works in La Mulana and in this movie. It's pretty good. V-I-Y, 1967. Based on a novel I'm reading as I've looked this up by Nikolai Gogol. Gogol 13? Maybe? Interesting. According to demonicparadise.fandom.com, V is a demonic figure of Slavic mythology which appears to hold a high ranking and revered, if enigmatic, position among denizens of the underworld, folks. In his physical form, V has the appearance of a monstrous humanoid, tall, broad-shouldered, and cross-legged. His body and face are said to be made of metal and thick tree roots. V's most prominent feature is his extremely long eyelids and lashes, to which he owes his name, Vaya, which means eyelashes in Ukrainian. V can't lift his eyelids on his own, thus requiring the help of lesser demons and ghouls. V's stare is said to possess lethal and generally malignant qualities, such as, for example, being capable of lifting protective charms and inflicting soul-crushing fear. Now you know. That's your horoscope for today, as Weird Al would say. An update for AMP. I need an update for my Stream Deck thing. That's still not working right. I might have to email the people. Send them the logs. I might just uninstall it and reinstall it. Because turning it on and off and back on again didn't fix it. Their old pal Jason had excuse me. I was asked to go play some music at a festival yesterday, and I was supposed to do that and then have a second gig after the festival. But the first one ran like way late, so I had to cancel my second one, which was fine. Those people are cool, but I feel bad for doing it. But the festival went pretty well. The guy who put it on said, he would have liked more people, obviously, but You know, it's okay. Yeah, this is the first one that's been done in years, so it's all right if it's not as well attended as you hope. Why they asked me, I don't know. And why they booked me where they booked me, I don't know. It was mostly like metal bands. But oh well. It went fine. All right, after Top Secret, we're going to play. Love this song. Sorry about you, Billy. We got Minecraft to play. So and then turn that off. Turn that on. Top Secret's a good song. That is from a game called Maze, which you probably gathered by looking at the thing if you looked at the thing. Maze is a game that is available to watch here on YouTube and on the Jason's Groove Machine website. And it's different. It's different. It's first person puzzle game, no combat. Um it starts off kind of creepy. You know how those things do. Like you find a severed hand and you have to use it to open a thing, and kind of like Darkstar, but not kind of like Darkstar. You know what I'm saying? And as you go, it just kind of starts to get silly, like they do. Um, Not specifically saying this to drum up business for myself, but if you're into that, you know, into that kind of thing, I encourage you to give it a watch. I had a blast with it. I mean, eventually I had a blast with it. It was weird at first. Not puzzle game like Ether 1 was. It wasn't that bad. But it was more walking around exploring than something like what were those games? Dear Esther and Gone Home. It was a little more involved than that. I had 4 other pumpkins in there. No reason not to fix those. Was told the other day by somebody. He said, I'm enjoying watching this. I don't understand what the reason for this large structure you're building is. The large structure being Zelda Tower. Well, the tower on Zelda Island. We need a name for it. Tower of Hera, of course, makes sense, but something a little more goofy. I don't know. We'll see. Something will come from it. There is no purpose. There's no reason for it at all. It was just, there's an island. It looked very Legend of Zelda-y. So we needed to build something on the island to maintain the Zelda-iness of the whole thing. Thus, Zelda Island was born. That's all. Because it's there, as Michael Hedges would say. I have a buddy. He's a saxophonist. Lives in Cape Girardeau, Missouri. And when the band he was playing in 20-something years ago got their demo made, he sent me a copy. Used to buy cables from him at my old music store gig. And I still have some of the cables that I bought from him for my personal use 20-something years later. Great cables. Anyway, he sent me a copy of his band's demo. And so when I finished an album of mine, I sent him the album. You know, because that's what you do. And he got back to me and he says, this sounds like Michael Hedges. And I said, I don't know who that is. So he told me who that was. And I listened to it and I thought, buddy, are you high? Because Michael Hedges is really good. And I am not really good. Like, Michael Hedges is like, excuse me, virtuoso. You know what I'm saying? We'll stick with that for now. We'll see how far we can get with that. And look, I remembered to do the kelp thing. Very first. Very first. Michael Hedges did the soundtrack for a movie. A little documentary thing about a... I haven't seen it in such a long time. I think it was a Japanese guy climbing a mountain. And somebody asked him, you know, what's the deal? Why you want to go and climb this mountain? And the Japanese guy says, because it's there. So, I didn't bring sand with me. Hopefully we've got some around here. So anyway, the purpose for this tower existing is really just because we basically, long story short, we had room. You know what I mean? We had this big empty space and we wanted to put something in it. Oh, I didn't get stairs. I didn't get any of this to do the next set of stairs. It'll be fine. Oh, we got some anyway. Even better. All those. Take some of those. Take that. Excuse me. So I think for our next set of stairs, we should put them here. Just on the other side of this thing, going up. But we need a floor first. There's an Enderman over there. I like that. He's going to get himself in a situation where he can be like, hey, look at me. And then he says, don't look at me. You know how they are. Watched a couple movies yesterday. Really when I should have been sleeping. So we got to talk about these couple of movies. Oops. I guess we could have left that there. Been fine. Hi, zombie. How's the zombieing? Trying to remember the name of the first movie. It was not very good. I'll look it up eventually. There's a thing that modern horror movies do that annoys the hell out of me. Surprising no one. And that is there will be times when you have that, you know, something horrible is happening. And our lead character, you know, they like wake up and oh god, it was all just a dream, a hallucination, you know. My mind's playing tricks on me. That kind of situation, right? Happens a lot. I don't think there's a single modern horror movie where that hasn't happened at least once, right? Well, this movie, it did it all the time. The lady, she's alone in the wilderness. Something happened while her and her husband were on like this rafting trip. And now she's stranded. She can't, you know, she's using all of her survival skills, right? That her husband taught her. And it's just constant flashbacks to this, to that, to this, to that, to this, to that. And my God, it's annoying. Because by the time it's all said and done, you don't know. Even by the time the movie is over, you don't know what's really happened or not. You know what I mean? Maybe it's just me, but they do stuff like that so much. And it's not like 10 seconds later, you know, it's minutes later. God damn it. So then no, it was all just a dream. Like, oh, well, did any of this actually happen then? And of this that did happen, you know, what of it actually happened? God damn you. This is just obnoxious. I don't like it. I'll find it and I'll let you guys know. Then you'll know to avoid it. Okay. Then I started to watch another movie called Anglerfish, which ended up being... I will hate watch things. We just talked about this. I will hate watch something just because I'm mad that it wasted so much of my time watching it, you know? Anglerfish, I couldn't do. It was too bad. It was like pioneers, right, out in the Old West, pioneering. They'd eat potatoes for dinner. And... right, there's 4 down there. And then at night, they'd listen to the radio. Because they had... because they had electricity. And then they would dance to EDM music. And you think, well, maybe it's a hallucination. Maybe something's up. Maybe it's these potatoes. I don't know. I really don't know. And you know why I don't know? Because I stopped watching it. And I stopped watching it because it was getting annoying. Because after our second night where they find this lady down at the river burying the remains of her husband, which the back of the box made sound like it was going to be a much more creepy thing than it was. Like the husband, the husband of the couple who take in the lady at the river, right? He somehow severely damaged his hand while cutting wood in a way that I do not understand how you would damage your hand. Like, your hand is just not possible. So he's got an infection and maybe he's hallucinating. We don't know. Right? So he starts talking about, like, I hear the voice of my dead wife, and then the lady from the husband's like, I hear the voice of my brother, and the wife is like, it's this, it's that, it's nothing. There's horses dying and whatever. It's just weird. Okay. So then after a second dinner of a single potato and dancing to the rave music in the prairie home there, um, there ended up being like this 10-minute long section of just glitchy video, like glitchy on purpose, not like the stream wasn't playing right, but like glitchy video, um, black and white filters, obnoxious noises, and like people would just kind of skip a little bit. And the best way I could think to describe it is, if you're listening to some good old classic hip hop music, well, they would do some vinyl scratches and they go back and forth. It was like that, but with video. Because people would eventually do a thing, but they kind of like glitched back and forth, like for 10 or 12 frames or something like that. Now, this movie is an hour long. It's almost exactly 1 hour. Part of the reason I picked it is because it was exactly 1 hour. Movies like this that are generally shorter are almost always great for being bad movies. It's a budget thing, it's a this, it's a that, it's a whatever. And I stopped about 40 minutes in because the only thing that had happened was the 2 dinners of a single potato each, the weird rave dancing, finding the lady, burying her husband, and then the wife of their, our prairie home companions there, sitting out on the beach talking to the dead guy, and then the weird black and white skippy video thing. That's all that happened in 40 minutes. None of it was interesting. It was weird, especially the strange, cowboy raves of the Old West kind of thing. It just was not good. I said, I'll hate watch stuff. I hate watched the Tim Burton Planet of the Apes because I was angry that it had wasted so much of my time. But this was one. Nope. That's it. I can't go through another 20 minutes of this. So I didn't watch it. I didn't finish it. But the one I did watch and finish last night was called The Healing. The European film based on the names and the dubbing. And it wasn't as bad as the first one I was talking about with the lady going camping. But it did also suffer from that. I'm hallucinating. These people drugged me. I don't know what's going on. My husband is abusive and he tried to kill me. So I came to this retreat with my really obnoxious spiritual friend. And now just everything bad that can happen is happening. There's a weird smoke ghost lady, and you probably have to be more familiar with the folklore of the region to understand what the smoke ghost ladies thing is, but it was also not very good for that same reason. There's so many things. Like, an unreliable narrator is one thing, but if you're trying to make this point, you can't. I think you got to be a little more consistent with your storytelling. Because the whole, excuse me, oh, it was just a dream thing to me. Just, it seems to me like you've written yourself in a corner and you don't know how to get out. So, it's all a dream. Well, that's okay. We don't have to worry about that anymore. So we brought, what, 2 stacks each, and it wasn't enough to finish? It was not enough to finish. So we have right there. Right there. And the other one right in the corner. Is that the same all around? Yes, it is. So, weird cowboy trance music, that got a thumbs down from me. A hard thumbs down. Anglerfish. Healing, I think I did end up thumbs downing that at one point. Not as hard a thumbs down as the other one, but still didn't think it was very good. I think the whole thing was about, you know, you find strength to stand up to the people who are hurting you, and that's good. Like we can support that. That's okay. But I think that looked right. That's why that didn't look right. But then you tell it in such a goofy way. You know, I like I said, I think the message was supposed to be like self-empowerment and all this kind of stuff, but then our hero wasn't able to deal with the things she had to deal with until she got possessed by the weird smoke ghost lady. I don't know. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we have a 3. No, 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, this should be like that. Now we're symmetrical. Yeah, so from that window, in for this window, in for. Now we still have to do our balcony. One of these will be turned into our balcony. All I can think about while we're doing this is the end of the Dark Tower books. If you know, you know. Of glass. Oh, yes, I do. Excuse me. It's the other thing we need to figure out is how tall we need to build this thing. We did not have enough glass. And even with that, that was over a stack. Ow. So what I think we need to do, folks, is we need to get some more materials, obviously. Some more granite. Need some more sand so we can make some more glass. That's not centered. Have to fix that too. And then we need to, I want to get something else we can use to do some work here. Wood would probably be fine. Dark oak wood, I think, would be great for what I'm thinking. But I don't know that we've seen any dark oak, so we might have to jungle wood. Or we can go looking for dark oak wood. Fortunately, we can't put dark oak wood in the tree farm because it grows different. That's still cooking. Any pumpkins? No pumpkins. Let's go get a couple of axes. We'll go out looking for some dark oak wood, but also shovels. We have no shovels because we need sand. Merchant guy's following me. Get out of here, pal. I don't got anything for you. I don't want anything from you. Unless you're going to refill my coffee, buddy. You're worthless. Can I do that while I pilot a boat? Of course I can. The way I've got my desk set up, I'm getting really good at pouring coffee left. I don't know if that's something to be proud of, but small victories, you know. Need to take care of my finch friends. I haven't done that yet today. Sorry, everybody. Not neglecting you, I promise. I think we should probably be able to get some sand here. Turtle. Hello, turtle. That was one of the least funny parts of the Master of Disguise movie, by the way, the turtle thing. Just saying that. I stand by that statement. The movie itself wasn't great. It was kind of funny. You know, I think Dana Carvey is very funny, very talented. But watching that whole movie, that turtle thing, you know, I just didn't think it was the best part of the movie. The Jaws skit was funnier than the turtle skit. 15 kids go into the water. Ice cream man, he takes the rest. I think Brent Spiner was the bad guy in that too, I think. Pretty sure. If you haven't heard it yet, Brent Spiner, who you may know from his, of course, most famous role as the yokel dude on Night Court, but he was also in this show, Star Trek. Maybe you heard of it, Star Trek. He was the robot guy. D3D2. I think I talked about it last week. He and Jonathan Frakes have a podcast, and it's pretty good. It's pretty good. The last episode that showed up in my feed, the guest is Felicia Day. It was pretty all right. She was one of the bad guys on one of the new iterations of Mystery Science Theater. Excuse me. And other things as well, I'm sure. Then they had an earlier episode, they had the guy who created Everybody Loves Raymond on there. And that was interesting because a lot of stuff happened with that show I did not know about. I guess, I don't know if it's true now, but I guess back then Russia didn't have sitcoms. So they hired him to come over and create basically Everybody Loves Raymond, but Russian. And talking about the whole like procedure of having to do that. Like they just had this itty bitty set and they brought in actors and like, okay, make funny TV, man. And it's like, well, we need this and we need this, and what about this, and how are we going to do this, and we need an audience. Why do we need an audience? Because the actors have to hear people react to the funny lines so they know that the lines were funny. Okay, we get the audience. So he comes back the next day. There's still no audience. He's like, where's my audience? They in the other room watching on cameras. No, that won't work, people. No. It was very strange. It was interesting. Very strange. I guess they made a little like mini documentary about that. And I cannot remember the guy's name now, but he's got some like food travel show on PBS. Pretty good. And then they had Seth MacFarlane. Didn't listen to that one. Seth MacFarlane's an asshole. You know, I appreciate all the money that he did to do the new Neil deGrasse Tyson Cosmos, but he is just an unfunny. It's just kind of high ego asshole, really. And it probably comes from insecurities, you know. Kind of one of those people who was never really great, but he was told he was great for so long. He says, well, I must be great then. Jack Black, same way. Exact same way. Not funny. Not really particularly talented. You know. This is my brother. We're all about keeping his family and da-da-da-da-da-da. You said something bad, and now I work for Disney, so you're out of the family. Kyle? You guys don't know what that's all about. Look that up. It was Australia a year or two ago. He had just gotten that Minecraft movie thing. They were doing a show down in Australia, and his brother said something not untrue about the current American administration. And so Jack Black's like, nope, that's going to ruin my contract with Disney. You're out. We're done, buddy. Nice people doing nice things. Like News Corp. Is that a ship over there? That might be a ship. Let's go investigate. Anyway, the Jonathan Frakes, Brett Spiner podcast. It's pretty good. Check it out. The problem is, and I've listened to other podcasts that have this problem, whatever podcast network they are using to broadcast, to disseminate their podcast out into the wide world, does the ads automatically for them. So you'll get an ad mid-sentence. There's no, we'll be right back after a word from these sponsors. Then someone tries to sell you a mattress. It's just, and so tell us about that time you saved the baby from the burning building, because that was really one of the most, and hi, welcome to this podcast is brought to you by None of these look like dark oak wood to me. I see mushrooms. I sounded much more excited about that than I meant to. Oh, maybe it wasn't mushrooms. Maybe it was cherries. We'll go over there. We'll check that out. Where's a pencil? I have a pencil. I need to write down where we dropped off the boat. We'll lose it. There's some dark oak over there. Speaking of dark, this is as far as we go. Fitzcarraldo. 279, 63, 2875. Well, if we get lost, we won't get too lost. We still need to get a cat. We really do. It would help with the creeper situation. Ooh, melons. Take a couple of melons. I think you should get watermelon seeds after you eat the watermelon. I think that makes the most sense. It's a baby zombie. That's a skeleton. That's a hole in the ground. That's an Enderman. That's a busted nether portal. Let's go over there. Surely nothing bad will happen to us over here. Okay, we good for a second? I think we good for a second. Wasn't terribly useful, that chest. I like the vine growing on the side of the magma block. Okay, up and over. But I think it was more this way. fancy new stuff we find. Dripstone, huh? Where are you? I heard you. Take some of this. Getting hungry again. Just like 28. Oh, great. Now it's raining. The Enderman's going to love that. My shield loved that, I'll bet. It's only almost broken. Okay, we'll go with that. Keeps getting farther away. Turning into a Kafka novel. I'm just a land surveyor trying to get to the castle. What's the deal? Call me K. You guys have read Kafka, of course. Obviously. My audience, one of the most well-read. Hey, thanks for the boost, pal. Kafka is interesting. On many levels. Oh, God. That was close. That would have been a sad thing that our adventures ended there. How did you get over the hole in the ground? You can't even jump. You got no knees. Okay. I think we will take some of this wood. I think this is dark enough that will fit right in. So, speaking of Kafka, Kurt Vonnegut, who is not Franz Kafka, Kurt Vonnegut came up with this little thing. And it's basically a graph. Excuse me. And he came up with the graph while he was working on Slaughterhouse 5. Maybe a little before. And this graph is the hero's journey. And it's basically this arc. The path that the hero takes emotionally over the course of any story. And if you look at this graph and then you look at things like movies, any movie, you will see that movies follow this, and they follow this fairly closely. I want some of these saplings. So on this graph, imagine a vertical line, and that is happiness. It's your X, or your Y-axis is happiness, excuse me. And then you imagine another horizontal line, excuse me, on this graph. And that horizontal line is duration. This is the beginning of the story onwards out into entropy, right? Probably make more sense if you could see what I'm talking about, but don't worry about that right now. So our hero, whoever they may be, whatever the scenario, our hero starts at the beginning of the story. He's kind of in the middle, right? Things aren't horrible. Things aren't amazing. You know, things are things, right? And if we look at a book like Maxwell's Demon by Stephen Hall, which obviously you guys have read, and you should, you really, I mean, that's damn good, man. We look at a book like that, which gets into the hero's journey in a more broken down, character archetypal kind of way. We can start seeing that, yeah, this is stuff that happens like all the damn time in stories. So in the Vonnegut graph, we'll take a story like Star Wars. Maybe you've heard of it. Little guy named Han Solo. Well, so you take episode 4, first Star Wars movie, and our hero Luke Skywalker, that guy, aka the Joker. You know, he's not having a terrible time at the beginning of that movie, right? He's hanging out. He's farming moisture in the desert. He's living with his aunt and uncle, drinking blue milk. What more could a boy want? Right? So he's middle of the graph. And as the story goes, his position on the vertical axis of this graph changes a little bit. You know, he's going to leave home. He's going to help the weird old desert hobo deliver the message from the robot. And, you know, events take place. But he's getting out. He's going to have some adventure. So he's going up on that graph a little bit, right? He's feeling better. Things are looking up, right? No more blue milk for me. I'm going to watch a robot play holographic chess with a shaggy-haired dog man. That's what I'm in for. So this graph is slightly going up. But then they come back home, find Aunt and Uncle, well, they've been crisped up a little bit. So then that's a big drop. It's a big drop in his graph. And then the rest of the movie is just, you know, slowly climbing out of that. So our hero at the end of these stories, according to Kurt Vonnegut, will end a little higher than he began at the beginning. You know what I'm saying? Like, here, this is really good. This is really bad. This is start. So you start here, you go, and then bad, and then you're a little higher, right? Now, if it's a fairy tale, our hero is usually, you know, the Snow White, the Sleeping Beauty, and it's kind of here and here and here, and then Prince Charming, and they kill the evil stepmother, and then they end up way up there, right? There's a point to all this, I promise. Let me just pick some of this stuff up. We're done here. We don't need any more of this, because now we grow our own cherry trees. My mouse. There's my mouse. So, Vonnegut if you read Slaughterhouse-Five, and a lot of Vonnegut's books kind of don't follow that. They kind of, because time doesn't matter. So it goes like this, the Vonnegut books. And I don't want to spoil anything in Slaughterhouse-Five if you've never read it. But, you know, there's no... I don't want to say nothing matters, because things absolutely do matter, but the way time works in those books, because of aliens, it's not as important. And what I mean by that is I don't want to say this. You know, the journey is more important than the destination. Cheesy as that sounds. That's kind of how that goes. We get enough? We got enough. Let's just let that last of these fade out while we discuss this. So, we had our Star Wars, right? Which is... And we had our fairy tale, which is... And we had our Vonnegut, which is... Who the hell knows? They may even connect. The loops. It may not be a line. It may be a loop. And then we have Kafka. Kafka starts here and does this. Things go from mediocre to terrible in a Kafka novel. And if you've read it, you get it. Especially the trial, I think. Metamorphosis does it, I think, better. I think it tells a better story than the trial, but I think the trial gets to Kafka's philosophy better. And if you don't want to read the trial or any Kafka, I don't know why. It's good. Reading's good. You should do it. You can be anything. Take a look. It's in a book. Speaking of, LeVar Burton, obviously, was a guest on the Brent Spiner, Jonathan Frakes podcast, and it was an excellent episode. I think it was the first episode. Anyway, if you don't want to read the trial, there is a really, really, really good film version starring Anthony Perkins, who was obviously in Psycho. He was Psycho in Psycho. Also Orson Welles. And it's very good. It's very, very good. So if you can find it, I recommend you watch it. If you're into, you know, the world being a terrible place, just we, the common man, don't really have much say in anything. Which I don't know why you'd need a movie to tell you that. Look around. Things is happening, folks. People getting right darned fed up. The guy who burnt down that factory or the warehouse, you know. All you had to do was pay us enough to live. That's a sentiment that has been common for a long time. And I don't think we're going to see that go away. I think we're going to see that picking up steam, and I support that. And it's funny to me, in a way. Yes, I understand. It's funny to me in a way that the people who are the most upset about this, right, How dare they? These people are just domestic terrorists, blah, 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 blah. Like, the people out there saying that are the same people who a few years ago were going out in, Boston Tea Harbor cosplay. Remember? They wore tricorner hats and had tea bags hanging off them because they wanted to be taken seriously. Always say things like, destruction of property is not a valid form of protest. Blah, 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 blah. We never made a compass. We should probably do that. But we got some wood, we got some sand. We got some other stuff. I also had another idea while we were out doing this for something else we could use. I'd kind of like to find another shipwreck. Back when we weren't streaming this on Sunday mornings, we did a stream one night and we found like 6 of them. Just like all in a row, just boom, boom, boom. And they were all within a day from home. So far here, I think we found 1. I think after the stream today, folks, your old pal Jason may take himself out for breakfast. Excuse me. I slept in because I was just tired. I was tired. I was out in the sun and did not hydrate at all. Well, I shouldn't say, look, I'm bad about that to begin with. My set was supposed to start at 5, and I was supposed to be done by like 5:45. So I could finish, the other band could get started, and then I could book it off to the second gig I had yesterday. Because I had 2. Well, I didn't go on. The band I was supposed to follow up didn't start till 5:30. Okay. So by the time I finished, it was after the time I had bumped back my other gig too. Because I usually play at 6. I said, I've got this other thing. I probably won't be able to be there at 6. So let's say I'll start at 7. They said, perfect. Not a big deal. Thanks for letting us know. Greatly appreciated. Blah, 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 blah. Because I'm like that, communication. Especially with venues and stuff like that. So, whole thing, I get done. I pack up. I'm leaving. But before I even started, I messaged my second venue and I said, look, I was supposed to start half an hour ago and the band before me hasn't even started yet. So I'm probably not going to make it. I hope that's okay. They said, no, that's totally fine. You can come in next week if you want. I said, if you'll have me next week, I'll be there next week. Blah, 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 blah. Put this cherry. Let's just clean this out while we're talking about this stuff here. So, I wasn't expecting to be out there for more than, a couple hours, 2 hours tops, probably. I don't think we need to save those. So, unfortunately, I ended up being there for like 4 hours. Like, I didn't take anything to drink. I was like, I'm only going to be here for a little bit. It ain't a big deal. I don't need to worry about it. And I should have worried about it. But that's okay. That's okay. Lodestone, obsidian, and dripstone. That's lodestone. Basalt. Calcite. Andesite. Buff. Need another box. So by the time all was said and done yesterday, I was dehydrated and I felt a little hungover because I was dehydrated. I didn't have anything, you know, I promise. I know, hard to believe, but I promise. I didn't get anything into anything I wasn't supposed to. So here's the other thing I was considering. Using some of these chiseled stone bricks for a couple of things over at the tower. Let's take 2 stacks of this. We'll make some of that. We'll take that with us. We need more granite, though. I did not yet get more granite. So let's put these in here for now. Because the way those cherry trees go, I don't want to plant them in the tree farm as is. Because it's going to screw it up. Baby zombie was on fire. I'm okay with you being on fire. That make me a bad person? Do I care? No. Not at all. Let's go do this now before I forget. Because knowing me, I will absolutely forget. Let's put these over here. 3, 2, 3. Well, 2 and then the... I didn't bring a shovel, that's fine. I'm thinking about where I want to go for breakfast. There's two places in town I haven't been to in a long time. One of them I haven't been to in a longer time. So that might be an option. But I also think I want a bigger breakfast than what they make, because food is good. Yeah, we can't do that. That's too close. So let's go this way. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. Oh, we got enough exactly for one more. Boom. Beautiful. And I've got some pumpkins on. How did I get those so screwed up? Oh, it's because there's only one. That's okay. We can leave two because these trees grow funny. So let's put a pumpkin there. Perfect. Now I kind of want to knock this down a little bit because it's looking weird. We won't spend too much time on this. Sorry, had to scratch my face. Oh. We don't have a wall there. Hopefully there's no weird prerequisites to getting cherry trees to grow. I don't know that I've ever transplanted cherry trees in craft. I don't have any wood in there. Of all the places to not have any wood. That looks horrible, but nope. So the weird prerequisite thing I was talking about is if you want to grow dark oak, you can't do it with a single sapling. You need 4. You need a square of 4. At least it used to be like that. I don't know if it is anymore, but it used to be like that. All right. We need more granite. So we're going to need to go out exploring for some of that, but I want to take care of some of this dirt first, because I think we've still got some work we can do with dirt. Let's start here. Do we need to go here? Was there somewhere else we needed to be? No, I think it's over here. Good old terraforming. Nothing quite like it. Okay, we'll go here. The one downside, I think, about setting up the house where we set it up, we have had to do a lot of this. Well, we haven't had to. Shouldn't say that. Yeah? Think so? I just want it to be green, man. That's all. I just want it to be green. Okay. We got a half hour left. I think Twitch Automod did its job. All right. I say that a lot. All right. I should have put one more piece of dirt right there. Then that could grow in. First thing we gotta do, we're gonna go over to Zelda Island here and we're gonna empty out our inventory. Some of this cobblestone stuff. And then we'll go try and find some more granite. of those trees there. It does add a little bit. Not that. That's all we got. Well, I'll fix that. Fixed it. You know, if we're gonna get granite, we need another pickaxe, because I just recalled that we only have the one. We haven't checked on our chickens in a while. We're on day 110. That's a lot. I was playing something else that tracked days. I don't remember what it was. Started playing Evo a little bit. I'd like to stream Evo someday, but it's so grindy. Might have to figure out a way to cut down on some of that. It's not Evo. It's not Ghost of a Tale. I don't remember. Oh, I remember now. I remember. It's a upcoming Let's Play. Gotta get it done for Patreon. I remember. A little game called Prodigal. By the nice people over at Color Grave. Check it out if you want. But the Let's Play's not done and it's not up on Patreon yet. It won't be going up till August. Which is why I'm starting it now, because I, you know, excuse me, everything is done up till but that. September's is done. November's is done. August, October, and December I need to do. Prodigal I don't think will take too long. October's, I don't know. October's is going to be a game I've never played. But it's a game I've seen played, and I kind of liked it. So, we'll see. That's going to be Beyond Good and Evil. Which, gameplay-wise, is very similar to a lot of games that I don't enjoy the gameplay of. So, I don't know what it is. And it is Ubisoft, I think. So, I don't know why I'm thinking I'm going to enjoy that game, because it's doesn't seem to be a game in the style of games I would like to play, number one, and it's an Ubisoft game, number two. And I don't like Ubisoft. But we'll see. We'll see. Every time I look at it, it bothers me that that window is not symmetrical. OCD kicks in. And it turns out that that's like a cousin of Tourette's. A little home movies for you there. If Coolio were here, he could tell us if he had a quarter for the bus. A quarter for the bus. Quarter for the bus. He might be lurking. Sometimes he lurks. There should be a self-help group for stream lurkings. Stream lurkings. Stream lurkers. Not only am I a member, I'm also the president. I lurk a lot. I pop in and I do my "I've been subscribed to you for 37 months" thing, and then I either get really obnoxious and just do anything I can to distract the player, like Coolio, or I just kind of sit quietly, let the stream play while I do other things. I don't really have a middle ground. I'm almost supposed to be looking for granite, but I was thinking maybe we could see a ship. But we haven't even had any dolphins following us, so. There's some granite. Granite, if you're Van Morrison. And I hope you're not. I mean, you know. He is one of those people who went from like, oh, he's so cool to, wow, he's really crazy. I will say, though, I got to give him some props. He really did. You know, I cannot stand the song Brown Eyed Girl. I can't. I've heard it way too many times in my life for me to enjoy that song ever again. But he's got some others, like Moondance is really good. Caravan is really good. Tupelo Honey is really good. But the thing I think I respect the most about Van Morrison is he was contractually obligated to make so many albums for some label years and years ago. And he just like, I really don't want to do it anymore. I don't care. I ain't going to do it. They're like, no, you have a contract. If you don't do it, basically you have to give us back all the money we've paid you for these other albums. And he argued and he fought and he drug his feet and blah, 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 blah. And he's like, fine. You want an album? I'll give you an album. And he purposely recorded like the worst album of all time just to get out of his contract. This is like a garbage contract too. Something like, you know, we own your house, your soul, your children. And you will never get out of this contract as long as you are alive. So he's like, all right. Doesn't say they have to be good albums. Frank Zappa, who I think is a phenomenal individual, or was. And I do not say this because we own a birthday. We share a birthday, and the same feelings about facial hair. Frank Zappa once said that one of the things that was worse, one of the worst things that happened for the music industry was the old guys in suits not being in charge anymore. Because the old guys in suits, according to him, and I agree with this, the old guys in suits didn't understand the music, like in the 60s, 50s, 60s, 70s. They didn't understand the music, but they understood that the music sold. So if they didn't understand it, like, well, whatever, try it. If it sells, great. If not, you know. But then the old guys in suits started to get replaced by, you know, younger music executives who started to say, no, I was there. I know what people want. And so when the young hip music executives showed up, look at that vein, whatever that is, just cutting right through that mountain. That's pretty cool. So when the young hip music executive showed up, you know, they kind of ruined it. Because there wasn't any experimentation anymore. It was much, it was too, we don't want to take the chance on this if it doesn't sell. And the reason was, like I said, no, I was there. I was at Woodstock. I was there when the Hells Angels did security for the Stones, and I saw what it was like. And we got to make sure that this happens, and this happens, and this needs to be this. We need to maintain the purity of the art form. And I'm the gatekeeper of that purity. You know, those are the guys who ruined it. And I kind of agree with that. Because those guys are now the old guys in suits, but they've never really relinquished any of that. That's why modern radio is so bad. It's all algorithmically controlled. And there's no DJs anymore. There's a station out here. Comes from about hour and a half, 2 hours away, so I can barely get it most days. And it plays really good music, but it is, unfortunately, it is all algorithmically controlled. There's no DJs. There's nobody that comes in and says, "Hey kids, it's Friday. Happy Friday. We all made it. We're going to have a look at the weather here in just a minute, and after that, we're going to get out and start giving away those Aerosmith tickets. Be the third caller. You know the number." You know, that doesn't exist anymore. And this radio station doesn't have any of that. But it plays all really good music, and, you know, stuff on that station that I don't hear anywhere else, like Iron and Wine shows up on that station, but not like Flightless Bird, Iron and Wine, like Iron and Wine and Calexico stuff. Like, that's obscure, you know. Can't remember the name of this band, but they've got a song. Life is short and unforgiving. I only fear the living. You know, stuff like that. A great song. One of the Lemonheads? I don't think that's right. Anyway, you know, you hear stuff like that on this station, but there's no people involved, and it's sad. And then the stations where there are people involved are so tightly regulated by the old guys in suits that, you know, you can't call in to make a request anymore. I used to love doing that. Hi, Eric. Was wondering if I'd see you today. I hope you saw my reply to your comment the other day. You don't need to apologize for the Final Fantasy VII stuff, man. It's totally fine. We don't, look, no old guys in suits are running the show here. There's just an old guy in some crummy work pants and some hey dudes wearing a pullover hooded t-shirt he found at a thrift store. We don't have a format we have to stick to, man. Especially on this show, right? But we will be giving away those Aerosmith tickets, top of the hour. Be the third caller. You know the number. Aerosmith just back from their recent farewell tour. I do believe they did that. Kiss did that. Oh, God. Kiss is terrible. Shouldn't say Kiss is terrible. The people. Well, I shouldn't even say that. Gene Simmons is terrible. And I feel like he kind of infected everybody else in the band. But Gene Simmons is terrible. Anyway, never got into Kiss. Trick with the slots. They didn't change anything. That's okay. I don't know why, Eric. It might have been something to do with our conversation, but I got looking for Final Fantasy VII ROM hacks the other night, and I don't know if it's PlayStation is hard to hack or something, but there was hardly anything. And a lot of it was just like, we fixed the shoddy translation, or we fixed the magic defense bug, or we fixed this, and you can't dupe items anymore. I don't know, do you need a hack to prevent you from duping items? Just don't do it. A little disappointed, but it might be a lot harder to ROM hack a PlayStation game than something else, because I don't know. So then I got looking for, like, you know, what games are there available on the PlayStation that have been ROM hacked and that I would be interested in, and there's not a lot, and the hacks that are there are kind of crummy. There's a Chrono Cross ROM hack that turns Miguel. Is it Miguel? I don't remember his name now. Turns what's his name into Magus, but really badly. Really, really badly. Now you can have the real experience, the thing said. Like, I don't, this is not an experience I want to have. Guile. That was his name, Guile. We don't need this, but it's here. We're gonna take it. This guy, R6. You can't replace a line like that. You got to keep that. That's right up there with I feel asleep. There was a Vagrant Story ROM hack, and all it did was one of them changed the font ever so slightly, and another one swapped your left and right for rotating the camera. That was all they did. And that seems like an awful lot of work to go through just to swap those, you know? Because you're emulating it. You can just reassign the buttons. Yeah, that's just me. Trigger. PC. I don't know, man. This guy R6. Final Fantasy VII is flawless. There's no problems in that game. What are you talking about? It's got the best of everything. The graphics have never been better. Story. Music. I will say, there was one hack I found that I kind of liked. And I did something similar when I played Final Fantasy V that this hack does for 7. And what this particular ROM hack I saw did is it ups AP gain, but drops XP gain a little bit, so you can master materia without over-leveling your characters. And I think that's a good idea. I think that's a rebalance that should exist in the game. When I Let's Played Final Fantasy V, and tactics, that's something I did. I used some Game Shark codes to increase, you know, ability learn speed without impacting level learning speed. You know what I'm saying? So I would learn abilities without leveling up because I didn't want to be over leveled by the time the game ended. Look at that. That is just cool, man. Jay, our friend Scarlett might know something about that. He streamed some kind of Legend of Dragoon thing, and it had all these little hot patches and fixes to change stuff. I don't think it's an official thing, But there is a thing. He could tell you more about that. I never really liked Legend of Dragoon all that much. I didn't like the combat. I didn't like most of the characters. I should probably revisit it. Yes, Eric, that's part of the reason. It's because, like, man, you know, you level up to make the story battles easier, but it makes the random battles harder because the random battles are tied to your character level, not the story battles. How much do we get? Oh, that's plenty. We don't need any more. I learned that the hard way. Just traveling along, playing some Final Fantasy Tactics. You're like level 99. Everybody's max everything. You've got the ultimate party assembled. You run into a battle with red and black chocobos, and then it's just, you throw the controller. Like, I'm dead. Game over. I can't win. Another very Zelda-y little tiny island. All that's on here is pumpkins. That's why anymore, when I play Final Fantasy Tactics, and I use the quick job level up thing, that's the only one I use. I do not use a level up thing on that at all. You still end up a little higher level than maybe you want to, but it's not so drastic. Somebody actually commented on one of my videos about a month and a half ago, maybe, the Nelveska temple fight where you get worker 8. Part of the, I think it's required to get Cloud. You know, like, you're double level than the bosses over here. Yeah, well, the 2 boss characters that can insta kill you, yes, I am a little higher level than those guys, but all the other monsters in this fight, they are my level. So it's just the way that game worked. It was kind of weird. Where am I going? We don't need to do this. We need to get back to Zelda Island. Need to make a sign. It's difficult, you know. And I don't mean difficult in like a challenging way. I mean difficult in like a, how can I do this without breaking the game kind of way. Where are we going, Dolphin? Bling blong phone. It's an email from Jeff Tydrich. He's got a new post out for the day. So what I mean when I say it's difficult is, you know, you want to find ways to make the game more enjoyable for you, the player, so you can do these things, like experience these job classes and all that you've never had an opportunity to before, without making the game so easy that you just steamroll everything. But sometimes there are balancing issues. See, now that's a little game breaky, Eric. I can't sign off on it. I think it's a bridge too far, my friend. But I think if you can find a way to balance a game, you know, to make it a little more, not accessible, but I don't know, give you a more full experience without, like I said, just grinding to the point of steamrolling everything. So I think Final Fantasy VIII did that really well. I think 9 did that pretty well. 10 didn't do anything pretty well. Yeah, I guess. I can see your point. Because, you know, you're level 60 or 70 by then, and he's level 1. That's the third version of that game. That bothers me. That bothers me a little bit. And games that, you know, we don't have, that I think we could have and should have, we don't get, but we get 3 Final Fantasy Tactics. Or 9 different Final Fantasy ones, or whatever. Like, you know, give us an official Treasure of the Rudra. Give us an official Bahamut Lagoon. No, ain't gonna do it. But here's some horrible looking pixel remasters of Final Fantasy VI. It's gonna look worse than it did before. You'll love it. Square knows what's best for you. A new game would be cool. I'd like a new game. Not, you know, the 5th version of a game I've already got 4 versions of. And if oh God, I don't even know who do it anymore, because I think Enix owns Quest. But if we could get a ogre battle that I could play on the Switch, that'd be great. Just the original, just March of the Black Queen. I'd be happy. Started playing Final Fantasies on Steam, made it to 3 and stopped. Yeah. When I really enjoy Final Fantasy 1 a lot. I think Final Fantasy 1 is great. I really like Final Fantasy 2. I think Final Fantasy 2 is actually a really good game. It's just got a weird combat system that's so different, you know. And everybody dunks on it like, it's terrible. It's nothing like the original. Well, like, yeah, Castlevania 2 is a really good game. It wasn't like Castlevania 1. Mario 2, Zelda 2, the second Turtles game, you know. That's not an uncommon thing. You know, I think, if anything, if you look at sequels, more often than not, the second one is different than the first one. I don't know. And then Final Fantasy 3, I kind of liked. Kind of. I don't know. I don't know. See, 3, I just don't know. It had some good points. It had some not so good points. I don't know. But you're right. It doesn't. It just feels a little weird. Just a little bit. And then if you play like the DS remake or something, it feels even weirder. Kind of like they tried to put it in the uh Crystal Chronicles Final Fantasy 11 universe a little bit with the character designs. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I like the job system. Finally, you know, kind of getting its comeuppance in 3, but I don't know, gameplay wise, I think you're right. It just feels weird. And not bad. No, it's just a little weird. Oops. Need to do that, but we'll keep it. We'll go with that. Where's my sand? One thing I didn't like about Final Fantasy 3 is how you had to use certain spells to get through certain situations so frequently. You know what I mean? Like, if we were a frog, we could get in here. Or if we were little, we could get in here. You know, they were just showing off like, look, you can cast spells outside of battle that will have an effect. But it just felt goofy. And you had to do it so many times. Which I guess is better than like you do it one time and then you never do it again. Which other games do sometimes. I put that sand away. I need that. But then you take that situation and you're like, oh, they put it in Final Fantasy IV too. It doesn't matter in Final Fantasy IV. Like, you never have to do that. And I don't think it existed in 5. 6 would turn you into an imp, but again, that wasn't necessary for anything. Did that wrong. You have points that you have to use to switch jobs, if I remember right. And you have to have X amount of points to switch the jobs, and when you switch jobs, it uses points. So then you just have to go and like fight some more before you can change jobs again. But I don't think there's a penalty for it. That's how it was in the NES version, anyway. And I've barely played any of the DS version because I thought it was garbage. I haven't made it that far in the Pixel Remaster version. After I finished Final Fantasy 1 and saw what they did to that, I'm really a little hesitant to play anymore. Because they made it so easy. Should not be that easy. And I'm not saying Final Fantasy 1 has to be super difficult and challenging, but it's almost hand-holdy. It's so easy. I know the one battle where everyone has to be dragoons. I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, wait. Yes, I think I do. After you get like trapped in the one, you fly over the town and they shoot your airship down. Is that it? Look, our cherry trees came in. Should cut some of that bamboo down and replant it. Make it thicker. Maybe we'll do that next week. It's been 2 hours, ladies and gentlemen. Which means this stream is over. O-V-A-H. Over. Yeah, we'll do a couple other things first. I think we need some light right on the edge of that, where all the zombies are hanging out. Jay, I'm kind of in the same boat. Because I was in a boat. I need some new stuff to play. And nothing's really been, you know, getting my attention. That's why I started playing Evo again and Earthbound with some randomizer stuff. Is it called Cast and Chill? Cast and Chill. Been playing that a little bit on Steam. Well, my problem with the Final Fantasy 1 Pixel Remaster. Just do the whole thing. Is the whole thing has been so simplified. And the map doesn't, you know, because I'm a weirdo, right? I don't know if you guys know this about me. I'm a weirdo. I had a Nintendo Power subscription when I was a kid, back when my dentures still fit. I had a Nintendo Power subscription, and I think the first edition I got was the Final Fantasy edition. And I read that thing upside down, backwards, frontwards. I had it memorized, man. So I don't need the maps. And I know exactly which chests, well, I shouldn't say exactly. I know which routes to avoid because it's either a dead end or there's nothing there I want about. Or I know exactly which ones to go to. I know, you know, I know shortcuts to do this and that and this other stuff. So I don't need the maps, but like there's Phoenix Downs in the game now. There weren't Phoenix Downs in Final Fantasy 1. You can buy items in bulk, which is a nice quality of life improvement, I will say, because the original you just had to buy them one at a time. And we bought a turbo controller specifically so I could load up on potions before I went to the Marsh Cave earlier in the game. They changed how the magic works a little bit. They changed a lot of things. It just kind of took the whole like aspect of challenge out of the game. And I don't like that. Should find out if there's something else we can do with bamboo other than just planting it. Now, I'm assuming bamboo in Minecraft follows real-world bamboo mechanics. And it's going to grow like grass, and it's just going to replenish itself after this. I wanted to get some and plant between my house and my neighbor's house. But I started looking at how fast it grows and that it's basically an invasive weed in some areas. I'm like, yeah, maybe I won't do that. Maybe I won't do that. Because it'll grow, like, you could watch it. You could see it grow, I guess. Like, in a day, you can see it gets bigger. And I don't want to deal with that. It does go pretty fast. Yeah, see? Hello, cows. Chickens. Eggs, eggs, eggs. I was thinking about Earthbound. I have Citizens of Earth I need to check out. I guess it's something like Earthbound. I have never heard of Citizens of Earth. I'll have to check that out. It's kind of my problem is like, I don't know what I want to play. I want to play something, but I don't know what it is. And every time I start something, I'm just like, this isn't it. My whistle has not been whetted by any specific game right now. Other than this, like, I enjoy doing this. This is fun. But it's not really, you know, we're not working towards anything. We're just, you know, this is therapy. This is our weekly get-together, our weekly therapy session. You guys could do a little more sharing, but you don't have microphones, so I understand. And the streams have been pretty fun. I think the streams have been all right. Ghost of a Tale is, well, we're making progress. I'll say that. We're making slow progress, but we're making progress. And Dark Star was fun. Goofy as it was fun. I think it was fun. You know, it'd be cool. We could hang a clock on the wall. I wonder if we put a clock in an item frame, if it'll still tell time. Damn it. Now we gotta figure this out. Figure it out, dude. Destiny for a long time. I never got into Destiny. And like Divinity 3 and Baldur's Gate and all these are supposed to be, yeah, I played them and I don't, it's not for me. I don't get into them. I can appreciate, you know, the grandness of games like that, but that's just not really my thing. And with game devs just turning into absolute jackasses lately, you know, it's making it hard to support. Like Square Enix, I cannot bring myself to buy a Square Enix game. You know, it's very difficult. I've got to really do some soul searching sometimes for that. But Capcom's getting gross. Blizzard's gross. And Nintendo is, you know, mostly fine, but still kind of gross. For different reasons. I just, you know, Nintendo, I get it. Here's what I think. And this will never, ever happen in the world we live in now. This will never happen. Though it seems like we're trending this way, but it's never going to happen. I think, because everybody's got everything now. Like, you got a Switch, you got a PlayStation, you got an Xbox, you got a PC, you know. It's kind of the world we live in now, just because of the way games are released. Here's what I think. I think you should buy a game from the developer directly. Okay? Follow along here. You buy the game from the game developer directly. And you get... Because we can't get physical games anymore. We're not doing that for whatever reason. You buy this game and you get basically a product key, right? Like you do on Steam. But this product key is good for any console. Console makers get out of dealing with the game business. And you can use this product key on any console. You can use it on any console and every console. But it's like an extra $5, $10 for the licensing fee for that game to go on that console. Because there's stuff I have on Steam that I bought to play on Steam before I had a Switch, or before I had an Xbox, or before I had a this or a that. And I would love to play it on other things, but it's what I got. Oh, it does work. Perfect. Look at that. We're going to leave that. So, Diablo 2 Resurrected. I have that. And it's fine. It's just Diablo 2. It still has all the problems Diablo 2 had. It still has all the fun moments Diablo 2 had. It's just Diablo 2. Then they released the DLC with the new guy, and it was like $25. Which I think is a little steep. Excuse me. But it's fine. You know, I have Minecraft here on my PC. I've had it since it was beta, you know. I had Minecraft before you had to pay for Minecraft. And I paid for Minecraft to play it on my PC. Then I got the Xbox and I wanted to play Minecraft because I thought that would be fun. I hate playing Minecraft with a controller. But I had to pay for Minecraft again to play it on my console. Anyway, that's enough out of me. Oh, that was a very productive stretch. I'm gonna keep doing it. I make these noises all the time. It's fine. Oh. I need a thing. I need it right about there. Oh my goodness. Can I even breathe sometimes? Oh my god. Anyway. That was a productive stream, I think. I think we solved none of the world's problems, but we took care of the console thing. You know, so I think that's okay. We got that sorted out. Maybe we found Jay something to play in the future. I don't know. If you want something RPG-ish, let's see. I've been playing Splintered. Splintered showed up in the State of the Channel the other day. It's kind of fun. It's old school Dragon Warrior E, but it's got a little randomness to it once you get past the first quest. That's fine. Cast and Chill, Prodigal. So that's the thing. Prodigal is a game made by Colorgrave. We've done some Colorgrave stuff on the State of the Channels. April Grove was one. Prodigal was one, obviously. Cursed Chapter, Dawn Thief was fairly recent. Claire a la Mode, Veritas, Curse Crackers. So, Jay, if you want something that's kind of short, that's not going to be too much of a investment of your time, that isn't really expensive, these Color Grove games are really good on Steam. I think they might be available on other stuff. Color Grave. April Grove is $3. There's no combat. It's just exploration. You cut down trees, you turn stuff in, you buy upgrades, you explore. It's just like an exploration life sim kind of thing. It's $3. I've played that game. Let's see. How long have I played this game? Tell me, game. 10 hours. I played this game for 10 hours. It was $3. And it's nice little like Game Boy kind of graphics. So you might check out Colorgrave. You might see something you like. Not a big time investment, not a big money investment. Anyway, thanks everybody for watching. Thanks Twitch, YouTube. I gotta go because the stream's about to shut off. See you later. Bye.